We begin our night, my dear friends, tonight. Now as we join the golden pages of Bhagavatam, first of all, it is said in the holy pages of Bhagavatam, we would have come across that part of our scripture that is called Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, we speak of Bhagavan Shri Krishna as he gives the kahani and he gives that message to that beautiful Lord, to that individual called Arjuna. It is said Arjuna comes from that family of 5, where as he is part of the 5 brothers. There is Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadev, Yudhishthir and Bhim. While it is said these 5 brothers will stand together united as a family with strength, they will fight together as a family. As we say in today's world, the family that prays together will stay together. Beautiful words of Baba Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai. We have come united together as a family tonight to pray, only to hope for the better, for blessings, for guidance, for protection, and only for the better of our lives in many different ways. And in doing so, as we will take a moment to pray with our hearts pure with devotion, it is said these 5 brothers, they've been casted out from their kingdom. They cannot go back there. Due to a family rift and a family crisis, an issue, they are fighting. And while families are fighting for land and wealth and property, it is said families are broken up. In today's world, is there anything different? In today's world, it is said this took place in the age of Dwapar Yoga. And in the age of Kali Yuga today, yet today people are fighting for land and wealth and property. Yet today brothers are falling out with brothers. Yet sisters do not speak with sisters because of a bearer, because of a gold chain, because of the deed of somebody's house, because of some piece of land, some portion of land. And in today's world, people are breaking up. Families are breaking up for simple things that we cannot take with us. Remember, it says, Itana tu karna Swami जब प्राण तन से निकले गोविंद नाम लेकर तब प्राण तन से निकले. What is the reality of the world? इतना तू करना स्वामी जब प्राण तन से निकले. This prana, this energy, this life force, this breath that we breathe every day, we will allow it to be exhausted, and one day we will not even have that very sad breath. We will not be able to breathe once more. But if you take that final breath, as we say, Govinda Naam Lekar, take that final breath, Taba prana tan se nikale, when the soul is about to leave, when we are about to breathe it to our last, when we can chant the name of Govinda, when we can chant the name of any God that you may love the most, Bhagwan Shankar, Mahavir Swami, Adi Shakti Durga Mata, it is said our souls will then merge and become one with that Paramatma. But why fight for land and wealth and property? In our message, it is said while Arjuna stands there, he stands with his four other brothers, and they have come to a point where they have been casted out. They have been sent into the forest for 12 years. And while they're there for 12 years, the deal is if anybody from the village sees you or spots an eye on you at any point in this 12 years, you'll go back for another 12 years. Friends and bhaktas, they're trying to hide, but they want to get out of this bondage that they are in. They want to get out of this cycle. Have you ever wondered at one point in your life, when will I come out of the aura that I'm in? Many people sit down in today's world and they ask themselves, why me? Why my life? How come everybody else is doing fine but me? Many people ask the question, how come some people don't even pray as much as I do, but yet my life is in a mess and they are living happy? When will you break the barriers of bondages and problems in your life? And while we ask ourselves this question, Arjuna sits with his brothers and he says, the family that prays together will stay together. Tonight as a family, when we pray, don't just sit and fold the arms. Don't just prop the chin. Don't just, my friends, sit there or be there, but you are blessed to be here. Many are called and few are chosen, and we are the lucky ones who are here tonight. There are people who are wishing to be here. There are many people who are calling and say, Baba, I don't know how to find our place. We got to share the WhatsApp location. There are many people asking, Baba, I don't know, I want to be there, but I don't even have a ride. There are many people who are saying, Baba, is it on the radio because we want to hear it? Is it on television because we want to see it? Thank God for Sankhya television. There are many people who are wishing to have a moment to be a part of the Yagna, many Yagyas, to get the darshan and the blessing of God in His manifestations. And today we are lucky in being here. Don't just sit there, but take a moment. In the crisis, their life is in a mess, and they want to bring peace within them. Who is the Lord of Peace? ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षेयमामृतात्. So the five brothers sit together and they're deciding now that they must pray. When you have a problem, pray. When problems get worse, pray harder. Don't pray less. He said, Baba, praying harder, no matter how much I pray, there's no solution to my problem. So you know what? I'm going to finish praying. I'm going to stop praying now. I'm going to go to a different avenue. I'm going to look for a different source of devotion. When you cannot find the answers to your devotion, pray harder. Never give up. God will never give you more than you can handle. He will make you reach that breaking point. But He's only testing your feet. Tonight, let Him see our strength and our love. Let the Divine Masters feel our energy. For it is said, the five brothers sit together. And who will they pray to? The Lord of Peace. This is how they do it. Namo Mahadeva Shambho, Namo Sada Shiva, Jaya Parameshwara, Jaya Bhuvaneshwara, Jaya Shiva Shankara. Everybody follow. Om Namah Shivaya. All together boliye. Namo Mahadev Shambho, Namo Sada Shiva, Jai Parameshwara, Jai Bhuvaneshwar, Jai Shiva Shankara. Har Har Mahadev. Bhavani Shankara, Uma Maheshwara, Girija Shankara. Bhavani Shankara, Uma Maheshwara, Girija Shankara. Jaya Balayankara, Jaya Parameshwara, Jai Shiva Shankara. Namo Mahadev Shambho, Namo Sada Shiva. Jai Bhuvaneshwara, Jai Parameshwar, Jai Shiva Shankara. Everybody follow. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Shiva Shankara. Jai Shiva Shankara. Jai Shiva Shankara. Everybody, Namo Mahadeva Shambho, Namo Sada Shiva. Jaya Parameshwar, Jaya Bhuvaneshwar,
जय शिव शंकर.
सबको जय शिव शंकर. नागेंद्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्मांगरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय. तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. सबको प्यारी ओम Namah Shivaya. It is said, gathered together are the five Pandavas. They have decided that in order to conquer that moment that they're going through, in order to break barriers of problems, they must pray to Bhagwan Shiva. So they sat down, and Arjuna remembers the words of his Guru. Whenever you're in a crisis, whenever you have a problem, whenever things are not going the way you want it to be, whenever things are upside down, ulta as we say, whenever you're not comfortable, then it is said with a problem in your life, you turn to that individual who will guide you. Who are there to guide you? Matradeva Bhava, your mother is your first Guru. Or Pitrudeva Bhava, your father. Not many people are comfortable to go to mother and father sometimes. Not many people feel comfortable to relate to them. So when you cannot relate to mother and father, then Guru Matra Pita Guru Bandhu Saka Tere Charano Me Swami Mere Kote Pranam. Then pay respects to your Guru. Then invite him into your life. And when you invite the Guru, everybody all together, most beautiful one. Aao Guru De Darshan Dejo. Aao Guru De Darshan Dejo. Tum ho Jagat Ke Data. Tum ho Jagat Ke Data. Gajanana Swami ki. Turn to your gurus, turn to your preceptors, seek the divine and spiritual advice, and they will guide you on the right path of life. Sometimes because they are living that holy life, they can see on a different level, on a different plane. They can understand from a higher perspective. They can simply look at you, and due to aura, due to energies, due to the balance of chakras, they can tell what is right and what is wrong, what is not good. Sometimes they may not understand the situation, but the energy can guide them to say, you know what, you're going down the wrong road. You're going down the wrong path, and they can guide you. Take the words of your mothers and your fathers. Listen to your parents, to all the youths who are here today, to all the children who are here today. Your mother will be only one. You will only have that one mother who brought you into the world. And while mother sacrifices for you, give it your all for them. While mother will sacrifice for you, it is said from even in the womb of that mother, she would have sacrificed, and for 9 months, she would have kept you there. For 9 months, she would have held you, and she would have never complained. But you know what happened in today's world? We complain when they call on us. When the mother would have taken us around the world for that 9 months, and she would have kept that pain there, she would have stood firmly to make sure that you are happy and you're comfortable and you got something to eat. We were happy at that time. And today when a mother says, son, you could bring some water for me, Ma will in the kitchen right there. Where is our love for our mothers, our gurus, our preceptors? It is said while the five Pandavas are seated there, they've come to the conclusion that they must now act further in order to be relieved of their distress. So what do? They decide to pray to Lord Shiva. What is the important offering to Bhagwan Shankar? What is the important role of an individual? One of my most beautiful mantras that I always teach my bhaktas and devotees, it says beautifully, Ahimsa pratamam pushpam pushpam idriya negraham sarvabhutadaya pushpam kshama pushpam visheshatah Shanti pushpam tapo pushpam dhanam pushpam tateyacha satyam ashtavidam pushpam vishnu preti karam bhave. One of my most beautiful mantras. It says ashtavidam pushpam. What is pushpa? Bhagavan Shri Krishna says pushpam palam palam toyam yome bhakta priyachate. It is said pushpam is one of the offering that Bhagavan Shri Krishna says. One of the offering that is actually flowers. Pushpa means a flower. Patram pushpam palam toyam. To those who offer flower to the Lord with full faith and devotion, He will accept it. It is said today, Bhagavan Shiva says, Ashtavidam pushpam. If you can offer that 5-petal flower to me, I will guide you and bless you. Tonight we are receiving blessings of Bhagavan Shiva. What does Lord Shiva want? He says, Ahimsa pratamam pushpam. May the first petal of that flower be ahimsa, non-violence. How many people like to fight? Put up your hands, let me see. How many people like to fight? If not physically, how many people like to argue back by mouth? और लेना रामायण और क्या लाया और क्या ममगाई में भगवान लोग के How many people like to fight back? How many people like to argue back? Ahimsa pratamam pushpam doesn't mean hurt by physical hurt. When you use your words and you discriminate people, you hurt them. When you use your words and you put down people, you hurt them. Ahimsa pratamam pushpam, pushpam indriyane graham. What is indriya? Bhagavad Gita says, Manashastani indriyani prakritishani karshati shariram yaravapnoti yachamurtamati ishvaraha. Chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Manashastani indriyani. Indriya means our senses. He says, you want to allow me to bless you with peace? Start controlling your senses. Start controlling who you are. Start controlling your energies. When we say controlling your senses, how many people get vexed here tonight? Put up the hands like this, let me see. A look at well, mama guy me boy. All the do get vexed? Yeah, right. Let our mind finish tonight and let me block the table in the back and say no food for nobody. And see what will help me here. Help or start by controlling your energies. Control your anger, your hatred, your temper, your jealousy, your greed. Start controlling these qualities. He says, Pushpam Indra Negraham Sarvabhuta Daya Pushpam. Be compassionate to those around you. Kshama Pushpam. Forgive. How many people could forgive? The greatest thing or the hardest thing for anybody to do is say, I'm sorry. Do you know that? We are always wrong and strong. People cannot say sorry. People will hold it in their heart and they will stand up and they will show you that they could do better, but they will never say, you know what I did you last time? I am sorry. A humble person will always show that gratitude and that humility. A humble person will show, my friends, the symptoms, as we say, of being humble in all ways and all forms. And when we speak of that humble devotee, that reminds me of that beautiful bhajan. A beautiful bhajan that goes like this. It is said, while many people took the opportunity to stand and become tall and feel as though they are big and better than others, in the eyes of God, we are all equal. In the eyes of God, we are only but one, and we are simple and we are humble. No man is better than no one. No one is greater than no one. At the end of the day, when we live according to how we live, we will all be the same. Bhagavan says in the world that we live in today, in this age that we are living in, many people will think that they are better and they are greater. But remember, in this dark age of Kali Yuga, we've come only to perform one role. And this is what happens. Live according to the rule of your dharma and your culture. Arjuna stands up that day. And Arjuna says that you will stand up and you will pray to Bhagavan Shiva. So he leaves that place in which he is seated and he decides now to go climb up a mountain. He wants to go and pray. He wants to now pray to Bhagavan Shankar, but he doesn't want to be disturbed. When you're praying, don't let people disturb you. When you're praying, don't let people break your concentration. When you're praying, do not allow people to keep walking around you. Do not allow people to break your mind and your faith when it comes to the Divine Lord. When you're praying, my dear friends, always concentrate on God, because remember, like Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam, one pure prayer can change your life. It is said, Tulsidashi sat on the banks of the wonderful ocean. And when he sat there with his followers and his devotee, this is what he taught them. Magana bhaya tulasi Ram guna gaay ke, Magana bhaya tulasi. Ram guna gaay ke, Ram guna gaay ke, Rama guna gaay ke, Ram guna gaay ke, Rama guna gaay ke. Magana bhaya, Magana bhaya, ho Magana bhaya tulasi. Ram guna gaay ke, Magana bhaya tulasi. Ram guna gaay ke. राजा चले हाथी गोरा पर किस्सा जाए के राजा चले हाथी गोरा. So it is said, listen, it is said, oh, I can remember from even long ago when I sing this bhajan, people said me Baba singing chutney. But this is no chutney, this is a beautiful bhajan. And I want to explain the meaning of this song. It is so wonderful. When you understand this bhajan, you'll understand that humility is the way of the world. When you think you're big and you're great, you'll never reach anywhere. But a humble man will always achieve whatever he wants. But in order to understand, let us clap tonight. Bolo. Everybody, bolo. राजा चले हाथी गोरा परकी सजाए के राजा चले हाथी गोरा परकी सजाए के सारू चले भूया भूया सारू चले भूया भूया चुनती बचाए के मगन भय मगन भय ओ मगन भय तुलसी राम गुण गाय के मगन भय तुलसी राम गुण गाय के So this is what he says now. Raja chale hathi gora paraki sajaye ke Raja chale hathi gora. What is a gora? A gora is a horse. It says long ago when the kings used to travel from point A to point B, they will jump in their chariot, they will sit in their chariot, they will hold the reins of their horses and they will move from one place to the next. While they're traveling on that chariot, while they're holding the reins of the horses, so every person they see walking on the road, they would laugh at them. Look at you. You have to walk. Look at me. I have a chariot. I am big. And you are like a normal man have to walk. Sadhu chale bhuya bhuya chunti bachaye ke. It is said the sadhus will walk on the road and they will see the kings passing. But you know what? As a humble person, they will look at them and say, look at these fools. They are holding the reins of a horse and they think they are big. God has given me my feet, and just as they will leave from point A to point B, they are a victim of what they have. But with the legs that God has blessed us with, we will still walk and reach from point A to point B. Now who is more humble and who is not humble? Raja sohe mahal do mahala, kamari bachaye ke Raja sohe mahal do mahala. राजा सोहे महल महला कमरे बचाए के साधु चले भूया भूया मृग चले बचाए के मगन भय मगन भय ओ मगन भय तुलसी राम गुण गाय के मगन भय तुलसी राम गुण गाय के says beautifully now. Raja sohe mahal mahala kamari bachaye ke Raja sohe mahal mahala. A mahal is a big palace. It is said when the kings go back to their palaces to sleep, they will lie down in their big kamra, their big room. They will lie down comfortable and they will be ready to sleep. But you know what? With the more that we have, the more responsibility comes. The more you achieve, the more you work for, the more you acquire in this world, the more responsibilities you have. They may have the biggest palace, they may have the biggest room, they may have the biggest bed, but when they lie down to sleep, they can't sleep comfortable. They are worrying who's coming to steal their wealth. They are worrying who's coming to overthrow them from their kingdom. But you know what? A man of God, sadhu chale bhuya bhuya, sadhu chale bhuya bhuya, mrik chale bachaye ke. A man of God may not even have a house. But you know what? He could lie down on the road, he could look at the sky and could say, God, at least you've allowed the stars to be a blanket to cover me. At least you can allow the trees to be that beautiful scene to allow me to sleep comfortable. Lord, thank you. A humble man knows how to say thank you. And a man who's not humble, he takes lavishly and without shame, he walks in this world. राजा का है पूरी कचौरी लड़की मंगाए के राजा का है पूरी कचौरी राजा का है पूरी कचौरी लड़की मंगाए के सर का है सुखी सत्व साधु का है सुखी सत्व पुण्य मलाए के मगन भाई वो it is said beautifully now. राजा का है पूरी कचौरी लड़की मंगाए के. What is a puri? Puri is roti. What is kachori? You all know it's kachori. लड्डू की मंगाए के And you all know what is laddu? When the kings sit down to eat, their table filled. No matter what they want to eat, they have it. Anything they want, they have it. You know what? When they sit there and they see food, they start eating lavishly. A man of God, sometimes he may not even have food. But if he's walking and he sees a grain and he sees that he can partake of that grain or fruit, he says, Lord, Shri Krishna Arpanam, thank you God for what I have gotten today to eat. How many people pray? How many people thank God for your food? How many people thank God for what you have in life? How many people thank God for your home, for shelter? There are many people who don't even have a home. How many people thank God for the food that you eat? There are people begging for 1 grain of rice. How many people thank God that you have clothing and you have many things in your life and you're blessed? Not many people. Magana bhai, magana bhai, oh magana bhai tulasi. Ram guna ga ke magana bhai tulasi. Ram guna ga ke, 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 Rama. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. A humble man will always reach great heights in this world. But when you have ego, you will struggle to achieve what you want. Bhagwan Shri Shankar Bholenath, he says, Kshama Pushpam Visheshatah Shanti Pushpam. You want Bhagwan Shiva to accept your prayer and your love every day? He says, Shanti, be calm. Do not always be in a haste. Do not always be rowdy. Do not be ready to always fight back. Do not always be ready to argue back. Be a calm person. Allow your nature to be quiet and calm. And with that personality, you will draw the aura of quietness. What you are is what you will attract. If you're a rowdy person, you will find yourself in the company of those who are rowdy and ready to argue. If you're a person who like Bacchanal, when you come even in the Ramayana, you will look for the people who are looking for some couture to find and you sit down right there because that is what you like. Not so. If you like a particular thing, you will find your group to associate with. Bhagavan says, Shanti Tapoha. He says, find your peace within you and associate yourself with peaceful people. Live in the world today in such a way, when you hear people ready to bad talk somebody, pull back and say, I don't want to know. Why find out people's business? Why know people's lives? What would that do to you? Why corrupt your aura, your energy and yourself with negative things around you? Always create that positive aura. That is why Bhagavan Shri Ramachandra, he says, Binu sat sangavi vekana hoye Rama kripa binu sulabhana soyi. Everybody, Shri Rama Jai Rama. Bolo, Jaya. Shri Rama Jai Rama. You all sound like a little hungry tonight. Bajrangabali ki, Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. One more time. Shri Rama Jai Rama. Jaya Shri Rama Jai Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. And he says Shanti Pushpam. He says Tapo Pushpam, Satyam Pushpam. Always be truthful. Always do your japa. Always do your meditation. Always give back to the world. Always be sincere in what you do. And when he says Satyam Ashravinam Pushpam, when you are pure-hearted towards God, when you pray because you want to pray. How many people pray because they have to pray? Baba, Panditji, so many Pandits are here. Baba, I want to book a date for prayers. When you want to do the prayers? Well, Baba, anytime now because we are doing no prayers 3 years now, so we just have to do one. We want to do our prayers because we just have to do one. Not because I'm feeling the urge to do a puja. I want to do a puja. Probably I had a dream. Probably I have a sign. Probably I got a promotion. Probably things are going good for me and I want to pray. I want to thank God for what I have. No. Baba, well, we had to one long time, so we know we have to pray. So you go book a date now. Pray because you want to. Be dedicated. Have that burning desire. Mumukshutvam in Sanskrit. Have that burning desire for wanting God in your life and go for it. Pray because you want to. If you're here tonight and your heart is elsewhere, your mind is elsewhere, there's no sense being here. You're just like a shell just sitting there. Allow your mind to be in God's name. Satyam Ashtavinam Pushpam Visheshataha. He says, with these petals of love to God, you will achieve the greatest heights in the world. Arjuna, he has gone to offer himself to Prabhu Bhagwan Shankar. And while he's going up that journey, in the age of Dwapar Yuga, it is said Bhagwan had taken avatar. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya taratmanam shrajamyaham paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya tradoskritam dharma sansthapanataya shambhavami yuge yuge. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. In the age of Dwapar Yuga, which form of God came to the earth? Anybody? Nah, man. I can't believe all that. In the age of Treta Yuga, what manifestation came? Who? Who came? This side. This side. Jai Bhagwan. Only easy, man. रघुकुल रीति सदा चलियाए. Bhagwan Shri Ramachandra came in the age of Treta Yuga, and he says, I will then remanifest in the other age if there's need be. And he came now in that age of Dwapar Yuga. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. In the age of Dwapar Yuga, Bhagwan Shri Krishna, Arjuna leaves his family. He's been separated, but because of a sacrifice, he leaves his family and he's about to go up the mountain. In order to achieve many things, you have to sacrifice. Nothing will come easy in the world. And if you think things will be handed down to you, easy come, easy go. You must work hard for what you want. You must strive hard for what you want. You must dedicate yourself for what you want. You must take your heart and put it into what you want. Have a passion for what you do. Love what you do. If you go to work every single day and you do not have joy for what you do, you'll wake up and you'll say, oh, God, work again, boy. If you're going to do our prayers, or you're going to do our puja, you're going to a yagna, even as Pundits, if we're going to do our yajna, and we say, our next yajna again, boy. You will never do it to the best. You will never do it to your greatest. You'll never put love in what you do, but if you have a passion for what you do, you will be the best at what you are. No matter what it is. If you see your job as not just a job and a work, but you see it as part of duty in your life, you'll wake up and say, you know what? Whatever will come my way today in my job, I'm ready for it. The attitude that we have towards life is what will take us or break us. The attitude that what we have, or the attitude that we will take to situations, will make us or break us. What is your attitude to God tonight? Umapati Mahadeva ki Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. All together with our voice. Shri Krishna Hare He Nath. So we try it one more time now. Turn to the person next to you now. See that person singing. Give them a good look. You know people like to sing and they don't like people watching you and things. If somebody watch you well, you say, hey, nah boy, you go and tell everybody how I sing. Turn to the person next to you and see if they're singing. We try hitting them my elbow just now and probably it work a little bit, but like a dying out. So this time give them a hard push. If they fall along, that's okay. They will get up. Give them a little push and say, Bhaiya, wake up now. Because with the name of God we will rise. And with problems in the world we will always fall. All together, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari. Bolo. He Nath. He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. He Nath. क्या बात, बहुत ही सुंदर है. एक बार हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा. हे नाथ Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Oh Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva everybody bolo Har Har Govinda He Nath Narayana Vasudeva He Nath Narayana Vasudeva He Nath Narayana Vasudeva He Nath Narayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Oh Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva As we take this opportunity tonight, my dear friends, let us all clap together, get the energy of Bhagavan Krishna. It is said at that point in time, Arjuna went up to the mountains, and when he went there, he found a spot. He sat down by himself. He sat down in meditative mode, and he started to pray to Bhagavan Shri Shankar Bholinath, Lord Shiva. He is a devotee of Bhagavan Krishna, but he knows that with the energy of Lord Shiva, he will be able to receive one of the most powerful weapons that he wants, and in turn, he will be able to win the war that will be upcoming, the Mahabharata war. Shri Krishna, Oh Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Everybody by yourself, follow. Shri Krishna Govinda He Nath. You all ever hear how this is Tamil song when you have a low voltage? We sound like we have a low voltage. Loudly, everybody. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari. Once more. He Nath Narayana Vasudeva He Nath Narayana He Nath Narayana He Nath Shriman Narayana 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 Lakshmi 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 Narayana 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 Shriman Narayana Narayana Narayan Bolo Shriman Narayana Narayana Narayan Lakshmi Narayana क्या बात लक्ष्मी नारायण 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 लक्ष्मी नारायण 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 वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की उमापति महादेव की Arjuna finds a spot He goes on a rock at the top of the mountains to pray. And while he's praying, he closes his eyes and he's chanting Om Namah Shivaya, Panchakshara mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. Everybody loudly. Om Namah Shivaya. Om, Om, Om Namah Shivaya. And while he's chanting in japa, it is said by constant repetition of the name of God, we will build an aura of protection around ourselves that when we pray, the aura of God will always guide us. The aura of God will always protect us. There are so many means of our scripture that allows us to receive blessings and protection. But simple things that we don't know, we take for granted. For example, do you know when you're offering your dhar, there's a proper way of offering your dhar? How do you offer your jal when you go by the jandi? Anybody, show me. How you offer your dhar when you go by the jandi? When we do puja and we say, well, we tell the yajman, well, you're about to put down the jandi, come, you have to offer the dhar. They take the lota hand. Bhagwan, take that. So Bhagwan had to take that. Very good again. We simply take it and we just Jai Narad. In the same way, when we offer our offerings on the bedi, Bhagwan hai. Sweet rice kya kamori spoon? Take that, Bhagwan. We take the term and we use the term very often. We're going to throw dar. How many people throw dar? I never see people throw dar for Bhagwan yet. We offer. When it comes to God, we offer. Never say throw dar. How do you offer your jal? It is said on a morning when you wake up and you must offer your jal to Bhagwan Surya or any deity, you must hold that dhar above the head. What kind of lota you must use? Well, we can stainless steel and all different kind of thing now. But the brass was used long ago because the brass is the conductor of the energy of Bhagwan Surya. When you hold that brass lota, you hold with two hands, not one hand. When you hold with two hands, it is said while the sun will shine on that lota that is made out of brass, energy will then flow. The energy of Bhagwan Surya will flow and it will be then attracted by the brass. It will then flow through the hands and throughout the body and be connected with one connection. When you hold that lota above and you start pouring, you must be facing the sun to offer your jal, not so. While you're offering that water from above, it is said the water must then fall directly in front of you to create that line of symmetry. It is said when the sun is directly in front of you, that energy is flowing directly towards you. And while it hits on that water that is falling, it is supposed to fall on that line of symmetry. It falls through that water and it's supposed to then be dispersed and allowing the energy to fall to every part of your body. We don't just throw dhar. There's a meaning to everything that we do. When you hold that dhar above and you're offering and the water falls, Bhagwan Surya will allow his energy to flow through the water and then through that water it will be dispersed throughout your body. Through offering dhar, you become healthy. The sun will re-energize every atom in your body. The sun will re-energize every cell in your body. It will rejuvenate every part of your body. So you offer dhar and then gradually you start going down with the hands now until it's completed, not hair. There's a difference. Why we will offer dhar and there's a proper way of offering dhar, that dhar or the offering gives you protection because as long as the energy of Bhagwan Surya is there, the aura of Bhagwan Surya will protect you. Then, when you're doing arati by the bedi, you hold now the tarya in your hand. I asked many a times, recently I was asking some devotees, when you hold the tarya to do arati, why do you put water in the tarya? Baba, the tarya will get hot. You think that's why? Why do you put water in the tarya? Anybody know? When you're holding the tarya in your hand, it is said the water adds to creating the energy of the 5 elements. This is due to all the astrological signs of our beautiful culture and scripture. When you're holding that tarya in your hand, of course the tarya is made out of brass again. When you hold that tarya there, you have a diya made out of what? Earth. You have earth, you're going to light a fire. There's air and space, you need to add water. And when you have now that tarya that now creates the blessing and the protection of the 5 elements, you do your arati with it, allowing God to help you start conquering your 5 elements and your 5 senses. The Baba then tells you, you will turn around by the bedi. Don't forget to spin around. Why we spin around? Because you want to create that protective aura to protect yourself from negative energies from the world. When you're turning around, how are you supposed to hold that tarya when you're turning around? It is said when Lakshmana was about to leave Sita Mata and he was about to go after Bhagwan Shri Ramachandra, at that point in time, he says, Devi, I will then create the Lakshmana Rekha. I'll create the protection of my arrow. And he took his arrow, he set up prayer, and he started to draw a circle around the kutia in which Sita Mata stayed. In creating that protection, we create a protection when we turn around. How do you create the protection? When you stand, you hold that tarya in one level. You don't keep waving up and down and yeah. One level. And when you turn around with that one level, that tarya, the light will create a protection around you one time. And then you turn a second time. If you take a pen or a pencil and you draw a line once, and you draw over the line a second time, it becomes darker. And a third time, it becomes very dark. That protection becomes prominent, and now you're ready to go back into the world. Nothing and no one can harm you. Everything in our prayer, everything in our puja has a deeper meaning than just what we see. Ask sometimes, learn and understand. And while like Lakshmana, while like he had created that aura, listen to a beautiful Chaupai tonight. Shri Rama Jai Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Everybody, Vrindavan mein Hari Lal ki. One voice. Shri Jaya. Beautiful. Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. 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 Vrindavan mein Hari Lal ki. Arjuna sits down and he starts to pray. His head bent, he will pray. He will never allow anyone to break his concentration. He will not allow anybody to disturb him. So he sits down to pray. And while he's praying, Bhagwan Shiva will not bless you unless he's satisfied with your prayer. I ask a question tonight to all devotees. Do you think God is satisfied with the way you pray? Some people do so. Jai Bhagwan. Well, if you know Bhagwan is satisfied, you know what to do, right? How many people believe God is satisfied with your prayer? Put up a hand, let me see. Now remember something, eh? What you believe is so you become. So if you think that God is not satisfied with your prayer, then you know what you have to do. Pray harder. Do more. Do more devotion. If you realize that your prayer is good and you feel good with your heart and your conscience guides you in the right way, continue with that flow. Do not fall in your energy. Arjuna sits and he prays. He forgets the world. And while he's praying, Bhagwan Shiva wants to test his faith now. God will put you through many trials. And at the end of it all, you will see the light at the end of that tunnel, as we say. Arjuna sits there. Bhagwan Shiva wants to come down. And he wants to see the strength of Arjuna. So he decides to come down, but he changes his form. He changes his roop. He changes who he really looks like. He's not Bhagwan Shankar. He changes his form, and as he's about to come to the earth to test Arjuna, it is said, Parvati Mata says, Shankar Bholenath, you alone going to have the fun? I want to see everything that is about to take place. So Parvati Mata is about to come, and Lord Shiva says, if you're coming with me, you must disguise yourself, because we're about to perform a little trick. While you will disguise yourself, let us go down. He comes down to the earth, and he's about to now go to the top of that Parvat. He's not too far from Arjuna. And while he's now approaching Arjuna, it is said through divine vision and blessing, through his hands, he allows a boar to be manifested, a wild boar. It is said the wild boar comes out of the blessing of Bhagwan Shankar and he starts running through the forested path. He's climbing up the mountain and he's heading to Arjuna. And while the boar is running towards Arjuna, it is said charging towards Arjuna. Arjuna is known to be one of the greatest archers of all times. It is said without thinking twice, he can mount the arrows onto his bow and he can destroy anyone at will. While at that time it is said, Arjuna sits in meditation, not allowing the world to distract him. He hears the footsteps of that boar heading towards him. He hears the footsteps of the boar running towards him and he can sense the direction. He's a great archer. And without thinking twice, it is said, he opens his eyes and he looks in all directions. And before even seeing anything, he mounts his arrows and he starts to shoot in a direction. With 3 arrows, my friends, he shoots in the direction of the boar. And immediately, it is said, the boar then parts some of the leaves and is ready to jump on Arjuna. The arrows hit at the chest of that boar and he falls to the earth and he falls to the ground. As soon as that boar falls to the ground, it is said, Bhagwan Shiva, in the form of a hunter, he comes from the bushes. Parvati Mata, as the wife of the hunter, she comes out of the bushes. And she looks at her husband who is the hunter and she starts to clap and she says, well done, O great one. You have shot this boar and this boar is no more. Arjuna stops and he says, you shot this boar? You didn't shoot any boar, I shoot this boar. Look at the arrows that I released. And he sees 5 arrows, he released 3. He says to the hunter, not because you shoot 2 arrows means that you kill the boar. I shoot the 3 and kill the boar first and you shot at the dead animal. You didn't kill that boar. And the hunter is saying to Arjuna, so you're saying that you're better than me? Are you saying you're a better archer than myself? We need to contest this. So it is said, Arjuna stood up there. And when Arjuna stood up, it is said not too far from Arjuna, Bhagwan Shankar in the form of the hunter, he's standing there. A war is about to begin. It is said gods will assemble in the heavenly abode in mid-air because they want to see this war. Arjuna, a devotee of Lord Krishna, is about to stand up to fight Bhagwan Shankar in the form of a hunter. And while they're about to now battle it is said arrows are being exchanged and no one will beat one. But Arjuna puts down his bow and his arrows and is about to charge at Bhagwan Shankar, the hunter. And when he walks up to Lord Shiva takes his fist and it said with one blow he hits at Arjuna and Arjuna falls to the ground. But when he falls to the earth, Arjuna closes his eyes and he visualizes the lingam of Bhagwan Shankar and he starts to chant Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. He's chanting, my dear friends, for a divine Lord, Bhagwan Shankar. He's praying that he will be saved in that point and in that moment. And while he will be saved, it is said, the hunter looks at him and he says, if you would raise one more time, I will show you how strong I am. Arjuna stands up and he puts his hands now, folding a fist, and he's about to hit at this hunter. It is said, as he's about to release his hands, who does he see in front of him? He sees the image of Bhagwan Shankar. Shankaram Shankaram Vanchitamaram Bhajatavaravaram Shankaram Shankaram Vanchitamaram Bhajatavaravaram Shekaram Shekaram Vanchitamaram Amatahatamalam Shankaram. Har Har Mahadev. Bahubhavanam manasa manasa krita bahubhavanam nana jiva nanoalasanam nana jiva nanoalasanam Shankaram Shankaram Vanchitamaram Bhajatavaravaram Shankaram Shankaram Vanchitamaram Bhajatavaravaram. Karunagya 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 Drita Bhuvanagalam Karunagya Karunagya Drita Bhuvanavanam Avagati Vitarana Matakala Mataranam Avagati Vitarana Matakala Mataranam Shankaram Shankaram Vanchitamaram Bhajatavaravaram Shankaram Shankaram Vanchitamaram Bhajatavaravaram. Om Namah Shivaya. Madam Kamadam Kamadam Madam Kalika Pramadam Sachidanandam Kalika Pramadam Sachidanandam Shankaram Shankaram Vanchitamaram Bhajatavaravaram Shankaram Shankaram Vanchitamaram Bhajatavaravaram 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 Shankaram. Prem Samapati Mahadeva ki. It is said Arjuna turned around to hit with his fist. And who did he see? Bhagwan Shankar Bholenath. It is said he dropped on his knees and he put his hands together, haath jodkar immediately. Prabhu, maaf kijiye. I didn't see. I was allowing myself to get, or to allow ego to grow within me. Imagine a few seconds ago, I was in pure meditation. And a few seconds after, Jai Bhagwan. You all know people like that? 2 minutes ago, Om Namah Shivaya. 2 minutes after, look Always be calm, Nitya. Always be calm, relax, allow things to be. Everything by His grace, everything by His compassion. Never work up yourself. God knows what He's doing. He has a plan. Work yourself into that plan. Arjuna put his hands together and they prostrated to Bhagwan Shankar. And when he prostrated, it is said at that time, Bhagwan Shiva, he opened both hands and he allowed his most divine weapon, his most sacred weapon, the Pashupata, to be manifested. He says, Arjuna, I will give this weapon to you and you will be able to use it once on that battlefield. If you use the right discretion and you use that once, you'll be able to take out the entire field if you wish. And with the power of this weapon, you will be able to regain once more what you have lost. If you want to regain what you have lost in your life, wealth, prosperity, family, problems that have created a wedge between your home circle, pray to Lord Shiva. He is the embodiment of peace. He is the Lord of peace. He is the Lord of destruction. He will destroy all our problems and He will bring peace back into your lives. Arjuna turned around that day and he walked back to his kutia. And when he saw his brothers, they were so happy to see that he had received the blessing of that Pashupata. Prem Sasumapati Mahadeva ki, Kailash Pari Shri Shankar Bhagwan ki.